Hey, everybody. I know it's been a while since we've been together. I got sick, and we thought it was a hernia, but it ended up being a 2.5 pound mass in my abdomen. So I went through a pretty horrendous surgery and had a full hysterectomy, and they were able to remove the mass. So I'm back in recovery. Yay. So I wanted to again highlight a really special gentleman that the Lord has brought here to our ministry, and he's done a beautiful act of kindness for us. He created this beautiful documentary, which you'll all be able to see. But before we go into that, I'd like to do a little interview. And his name is Kearns. And I want him to just kind of share who he is and how we met. And we're just so very proud of him and this beautiful work that has been done. So, Cal, welcome.
Thanks, Joanne.
And we want to kind of just turn it over to you now.
Well, first of all, Pastor Joanne, I want to thank you for the honor of being here. And I've got to say, everybody at the center was praying for you during this latest health crisis. And I just personally see it as just one more miracle added to your list of personal miracles. Amazing comeback, and you're as ebullient as ever. And I know it's not easy, but you've made a great recovery as far as what we can see.
Yes.
Well, I've been Christian as long as I can remember. I grew up in a Baptist church, and by the time I was 9, I was pestering my family so much about God and all these huge questions that I had that they sent me to the pastor, and he had one conversation with me. He said, "We need to baptize you." So I was 9 when I got baptized.
Beautiful.
And it's not the thing I think about Christianity is that it's very simple and it's very difficult.
Yes.
The concept is simple, but doing the walk is
challenging.
Very challenging, and can be ridden with crisis and temptation and all of that. But so I went to a religious university and had 2 majors, religion and communications, and decided to follow the communications route and get into television and broadcasting. The fact that a little later on I sort of withdrew from that particular denomination because I think women should be pastors.
Oh, thank you.
And so the women have been some of the most influential spiritual people in my life personally. So my films have always revolved around spiritual awakening and knowing who, and God. I've traveled a lot and expanded my horizons in the doing of that. So even though I do something on Mahatma Gandhi, it's still Christ-centered, and as was Gandhi, I must say. So, I don't get criticism for that, but he was constantly talking about Christ.
Oh, beautiful.
Throughout his ministry. Martin Luther King Coretta Scott King actually asked us to do the biography of Dr. King for the first holiday celebration.
Wow.
And that was a really amazing moment. And that's pretty much, I did one called the Consciousness of the Christ, which is as close to this as what I've done. And that's just sort of where I come from. And when the pandemic hit, I went for about 1.5 years into the pandemic. I've been working on a film on global warming and global climate change, and it required a lot of international travel. Suddenly, travel restrictions across the board, you could not travel. And I hung on as long as I could, thinking, well, this will be over in a few months, and it wasn't. It took a long time for the pandemic to end. So I ended up being broke. I put all of my money into that film, which is not uncommon. I do that every time to begin with, and then get the money on the other side to pay myself. So I found myself homeless. And shortly after becoming homeless, here in Albuquerque, I really hit a bottom as far as understanding what homelessness really was. I was anonymously attacked from behind while I was walking downtown, and broke two vertebrae right up near the skull. I was in the hospital for 6 weeks, and it was pretty devastating. They said this is exactly the sort of injury that Christopher Reeve had, the Superman, that it saw was really close to paralysis. But came out of it.
God's hand on you.
Yeah, well, I know that to be true. And so one of the people at the skilled nursing facility where I finished up for the last month or so suggested that I stop by here. So when I got out of there, I took a cab over, and the cab driver, as you'll see in the film, on the ride over here, says, they call this the war zone. And so that was my introduction. But having met you, and I know that you wanted to interview me, but this always has to turn back on you because you're really the reason that I'm here to begin with. I saw, and I hope you keep this as an ideal for this place. I know you do, but the minute I walked in, I saw, well, this is sort of how the early Christians did it, having everything in common, and nobody having more or less than the other. And Jesus's ministry and my years of study on Jesus have always focused on his ministry to the poor. Yes. To me, that's, if you just look at the counterbalance of how much he has talked for the poor and about the poor, as opposed to those that are doing better, his ministry was to the poor, to my mind, over and over and over again. So that hit me too, that your ministry is for the poorest of the poor. And it jived with the other films that I had been making. And so I just immediately made a decision: if I can make it here, then I'll stay here. It's completely different than any other shelter that I've heard of or know of. And it's that opportunity that people have when they come to to the Compassion Center. There is a spiritual opportunity if they want to take it.
Yes.
People have a way out, and the way out is up.
Amen.
Otherwise, there's not much of a way out of homelessness. It's pretty, really difficult to get out of homelessness. But I took off 3.5 months to work on this film away from the shelter while I was making it. And when I came back, I really had verified the fact, because I saw a number of people that I knew who had just grown spiritually in the 3.5 months that I had been away. And I said, yeah, this works. And this is how it works.
Yes.
So it's just been as long as you've got to be homeless, this is my home away from home.
Oh. Well, I'm glad you feel like that, Cal. And yes, the International District, known as the war zone, but we as community leaders, we really have worked hard to try to portray it differently. We have over 21 languages spoken here. We are not looking through life through rose-colored glasses. We know we have our issues here. We have seen our share of violence. We have been shot out here as a church, shot at our tent. We have had to help a lot of our folks here on the streets that are suffering with this fentanyl and the methamphetamine. And so we see that along with the poverty, the homelessness is the addiction too. Right. So, and the mental illness. So we are dealing with a whole lot of a series of different issues here in International District. But you've been able to capture the heart of the Compassion Center. And yes, we do call this a miracle on Trumbull Avenue, because just that it's still here after 2 years. It takes over $10,000 a month to run the two buildings. The Bernalillo County has a little pocket, a little grant that they're getting ready to help us with. And the city has been wonderful to us. They've helped me get the tent. They've helped me get the building. They helped us put it on the lot. I love the city of Albuquerque, but we don't receive any more funding from them. So my heart, my desire is to have us take care of this place from within, churches, folks with a heart that are willing to say, hey, this is a good cause. This is working. We want to go ahead and help support. So we're hoping that this documentary too will open up some avenues and doors to bring more support in, which could really help, because we never have enough. It's like we get through this series, here comes another series, and we're always going back and forth with it. But we do it with a lot of joy in our heart, and oh my gosh, the food we serve here. I can't believe it. We got Chick-fil-A coming. We get convention center that brings roast and prime rib, ABC Bakery, Dion's bread, Panera bread. I mean, and then we get this beautiful fruit and vegetables on Tuesdays and Fridays from Trader Joe's and Sprouts. So, and a lot of this comes from the Catholic workers, the Francis House. Oh my gosh, I love Francis House. Pastor Chuck God's Warehouse. I mean, we have a beautiful church in Rio Rancho. I always get their name wrong, but I mean, they're so wonderful. They bring us sack lunches. They bring a lot of cold cuts and hot dogs and chili sauce, and it's just beautiful. How beautiful so many of these hearts are coming in to help us, and the people keep coming. I cannot believe it. We're seeing new faces every day, and nobody wants to leave because they do feel safe. We're able to take some of our challenges, and we're doing lots of trainings too at night. Kell and brought some really good information in, and came up with some options how we can deal with prevention of violence, or how can we add more options to some of our situations that could really, really be pretty detrimental. But yeah, we're really taking some opportunities of some of these challenges and trying to turn it for positive, because we want to build these people up. We want them to thrive. We want them, we're creating leadership, responsibility, accountability. And yeah, some of them are pretty challenging. Yeah. And some people say, oh no, don't do that for that. No, don't make them a leader. Oh yeah, that's the best leader, because watch to see what they're going to do. I had another man said today, I've been sober 2 weeks, Pastor. Another one over a year. Another one, months. I mean, It's just beautiful. A lot of them are wanting to stay focused here, build their relationship with God, be a part of what's going on here.
Yeah, I think one of the keys that I have seen in your ministry, and it's really a rarity because it is one of the most difficult admonitions of Jesus, is to be non-judgmental, to judge not. And I see that in your ministry all the time. The people that come before you, I mean, there's some hard cases.
Oh, yeah.
And there is just a refusal on your part to judge them. If they prove that they can't do the deal, then they're out. But everybody seems to have an spiritual opportunity to grasp a hold of. What? I don't know how long we got, but I do just want to say quickly that for me, the goal is the continued success of your program, of God's program here, that we let the world know about it.
Yes.
Yeah, it's not just here. Homelessness is a problem all over the country.
Worldwide. Oh my gosh.
Just in this country, well over 600,000 now don't have a place to stay tonight. And worldwide, as you said, refugee crisis. I mean, in Ukraine alone, there's 14 million people that no longer have homes. So it's a global problem.
Yes.
And if we can, this Christ-based solution can be shown to work here as well as it does, then if we can take this show and expand upon it for other places, then I envision that we could help a lot of people around the world with this.
I think it's fun too, and what's really, really exciting is just how we can take the lives of these folks and encourage them, motivate them for change. And yes, I call it. I do. I mean, they come in drunk and they create issues. I call it. I say, this is not right. You need to get some help. You're harming what's going on in here because you made a decision. And this is the way I deal with it. 75% of them are addicts. We know that.
Right.
Okay. And we tell them that is your addiction. I'm not judging you. I'm going to love you unconditionally. But the moment you bring it in here, now it becomes my problem. Right. And I have to keep this home, the house, safe. A lot of people have PTSD. They've had situations. And when it gets loud, we have to calm it down. Right. And we have to teach people how they can do that. Right. The impulse control on some people are just off the charts. They have no control. They're emotional. And before you know it, the volume's going up. people are freaking out. So, but we could take that and do trainings with them and show them other options and how they can get better, how they can be strengthened. In my book, it's full of those solutions. I've been doing this for over 30 years. And I'm so excited that I've been able to utilize what I did in the book to do it every day here. And it comes natural. It's nothing we got to puff up or something we got to kind of create. It is just easy application to help build these people up. And they're just pretty terrific. But
definitely seen that.
Yeah, and I think we have more opportunity to do that because we never know how long we have the folks. We have had thousands go through here. They stay here for 100 days or so. They move on. Some 2-3 months, they move on. And they come in from out of state, they move on. But it's beautiful that you see the vitality, the treasure in every human being, that they are worth investment. And as long as we have them, we're going to do our best to try to bless them. But again, going back to the documentary, you're going to see it. We're going to be able to show it to you guys soon. And, Cal and Stefan and Pam, these are two other individuals that really helped with the footage and helped create it. And it was just so beautifully put together. And what we're wanting to do also is take it out, like Cal said, take it out of here. Now we're going to show it here, and hopefully people all over can see it. And then at the same time, we'd love to go into churches and go into even places where a lot of people are attending to share with them to see what's going on here. And I also got a panel that we're creating, and I'm excited about that.
I'm excited about that too.
Yeah, these are folks whose lives are changing. I have a gentleman, 15 years old. He murdered somebody. He spent a lot of time in prison, in jail, and he's here. He's been here with us for a month, and he's just wanting to stay. He gave his life to the Lord. He's wanting really hard to work hard. There's that constant pulling to take him back. But he said, no, I'm not going to do that. We have others that are, she was a drug dealer. She'd kick in doors with guns. She was pretty amazing. And now she does security for me. So it's like, but
miracles.
Miracles. I know. Come on, healing somebody of cancer. God can do it. My son here shooting this footage as a baby, the doctor said, you're not taking him home, ma'am. He's not going to make it. And I said, oh, yes, he will, by the power of God. And he was home in 2 hours. So don't tell me that there's no miracles. But the biggest one is when God touches the heart and he changes them. And they don't want that life no more. So I'm like, yay. And I get excited about it. So we want to showcase them. And this thing with fentanyl right now, and so many people overdosing, people don't really understand what this is about. What are people doing when they have what's called tenting? They put coats and blankets over them. What they're doing is they're inhaling fentanyl. And a lot of them are inhaling so much that they're dying. So what we want to do is when we bring part of our another component to our presentation is to do a demo on an overdose, and then how do you administer the Narcan.
That's excellent.
So we're excited about that. We'll be having showing another presentation of viewing here at the Interfaith Bible Center at 7501 Trumbull, August the 2nd, which is a Wednesday night, coming right up, 6 o'clock. We'll have finger sandwiches, food, and just a good night just to view the documentary, talk to the panel, and then do the demo. And we like to kind of take it to other places. So if there's anybody out here watching this, we'll come. We'd love to come and share what's going on.
Well, this sort of drug addiction and overdosing is now the leading cause of death of people under 30, of younger people.
All economics, all walks of life.
That's correct. And I think that a lot of people, hopefully that will be led to come to this, may not realize, you and I deal with it on a daily basis, how powerful this drug is. And it's unlike anything we've ever had in our culture.
No, I used to wear gloves to put fentanyl patches on my husband when he was dying of cancer.
So
so I
hope some people will be awakened to this real crisis and threat that's in the midst of us right now. And there is a way out, as we know. and your ministry shows that way out. So,
Well, thank you, Cal, and
yeah.
thank you for your time today. And what I'd like to do also is maybe we can film the demo and we can share Narcan administrate how to administer it to folks. Maybe we can interview some of our panel and share it with our audience here. So yeah, I'm really excited. So thank you for bringing this out, and yeah, let's continue to go forward with it. Thank
Thanks
you,
for having
Cal.
me. Thank you.